Okay, factoring quadratics when the lead coefficient is not 1 is a little bit trickier. I'm going to show you two techniques. The first technique is, well, first thing that you have to do is look at all three, two coefficients and one constant, and determine, do all of these share a factor? Because if they do, factor that out so the numbers are smaller and easier to work with. So all three of those, this is how I tell quickly, do the sum of the numbers add up to, so 9, obviously, 3 goes into 9, 4 plus 2 is 6, 3 goes into 6, 7 plus 2 is 9, 3 goes into 9. Right away, I know that 3 goes into this, 2 each of those. 2 does not, because all three of those numbers aren't even, so I'm going to factor out a 3. And when I factor out a 3, I'm left with the quadratic inside, and 3, 14, and negative 24 do not all share factors, so we're good to go. The method that I learned when I was in high school is the method in the previous video, where you put two sets of parentheses, and then factors of the first thing, of the first term. So 3b squared could be rewritten as 3b times b, and then factors of negative 24 that add up to positive 14. Well, if you look at that, negative 4 and 6 do not add up to 14, but this is what you have to realize. It is this term times this term, so 3b times 6, which is 18b, and then this term times this term, so negative 4 times b, which is negative 4b. You add those two together and you get 14b. Some of you are going to be able to do this, very easily, and some of you just might have a more difficult time doing that. So there's this table method, and this is how you do it. Label these A, B, and C, and in the table, A times C, so 9 times, we factored that out right there, so here's our A, our B, and our C. 3 times negative 24 is negative 72. Factors of negative 72, that add up to B. So A times C, A times C. Factors of that add up to 14. Well, that's negative 4 times positive 18 multiplied to be negative 72. And negative 4 plus 18 add up to be 14. But we then have to do the grouping method. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring that 3 from right here all the way down here. And then I'm going to rewrite this quadratic. And instead of 14b, I'm going to insert the negative 4 and 18. So 3b squared, 18 and 3 have something in common, so I'll put positive 18b there, and then subtract 4b right there, and then subtract 24. Well, now that I have 4 terms, we can group the 2 terms. Now, this is where you have to be very careful. There's a subtract sign between the second and third term. Well, the minute that we put the parentheses there, what's a negative times a negative? Yeah, positive. But we need it to say negative 24. So what you're going to have to do is, if there's a negative sign right here, as soon as you put the parentheses, you have to flip that sign, which is good because now look, the sign and the 2 sets of parentheses agree with each other. Now factor out in each set of parentheses what they have in common. 3b squared and 18b both share a 3b. 3b squared divide 3b just leaves, 1b. And then 18b divide 3b leaves 6. 4b plus 24, they each have a 4 in common. 4b divide 4 leaves b. 24 divide 4 leaves 6. And now look at, both of these share this factor, b plus 6, and then everything on the outside, 3b subtract 4. And that's what we had. If I could move, I probably covered it up too much now. Yep, that's what I had before, except for I had these two reverse. And these two, it doesn't matter which order they go in. So that's it. That's factoring quadratics when the lead coefficient is not